Most of us probably know this situation too well. You post a photo on Instagram and in the end you either get no likes or it's just your family member or some bot liking your photo. Well, luckily, or probably not, for you it's pretty common. But seriously, it's genuinely unmotivating. It makes us feel as if our work isn't appreciated. And I will say it now, this video is not for you if you are looking for a fast way to get beat on Instagram. Outside of a lot, and I mean a lot of luck, or straight up giving money to Mr. Lizard, there isn't any real way, and paying will only work as long as you pay. Now, for a little history lesson. Instagram was created on October 6, 2010, and it obviously went through a lot of changes along the way, but the biggest one happened in April 9, 2012. On this day, Facebook, not Meta yet, bought Instagram. And because of that, Instagram began to change. For the worse. It went from a place when you could share some snapshots with your friends to a revenue-producing giant that valued people staying on the app over anything else. This is kinda what every social media is doing, but they are much better for our well-being. Oh, and fun fact, Instagram was ranked as the most detrimental for mental health. If that's not saying anything, I don't know what will. But anyway, where does that lead us? Well, to put it simply, Instagram doesn't care about your photos. They are just data for them, just like every other post on the platform. So for example, an AI abomination is data. Someone's family photo? Data. The photo that you worked hard on? You guessed it, data. All of these are just data for Instagram to use in its algorithm, which determines what goes viral and what's not. If some AI slob gets more engagement than your photo, it's way more likely to go viral. To put it even more simply, Instagram doesn't care what the posts are. As long as they generate money, it's all that matters. But there are other parts why Instagram is bad for photography. For starters, the aspect ratios. There are only 4 and one of them, despite being called the original, still crops your photos. There is a reason why a lot of photographers use the film borders on their photos. But that is a small problem. The next one is a quite bit bigger. So this problem is connected to the algorithm. Let's be honest here for a second. We want our work to be seen. This is why we post our work in the first place. But the problem that Instagram often brings is the reliance on niching down. It's much easier for Instagram, for example, to recommend you if you post the same thing over and over again, which is not a good thing. We might like certain genres, but we should still experiment. Otherwise, we will stagnate. I thought about it in this video, which, speaking of, if you want to watch more videos like this, consider subscribing and liking this video, it helps a lot. But anyway, another reason why chasing likes is not a good thing is because we have to post a lot of photos, preferably daily, which is basically impossible if you have any standards, because you can't tell me that you can post photos every day while maintaining the quality. And the next problem, and what I think is the main one, is the constant comparison. When you scroll on Instagram, you often compare yourself with others, and not in a good way. Because when we see a photo on Instagram, we aren't trying to deduce what makes it good and what can we do to improve, but just scroll to the next photo. And the reason why it's bad is rather interesting. When we do that, we subconsciously remember that we saw better photos. And when we, for example, look at our photos after it, we think they are shit. And it's really hard to improve when we think we are bad at something. And it's called self-suggestion. It doesn't sound so climactic when you say it out loud, but anyway. But seriously, because when you constantly compare yourself, it's pretty hard to improve. I mean, you might want to, but you will be stuck in a weird loop, in which you try something new, compare yourself to someone else, and then feel unmotivated because someone with a lot more experience is better. However, while on their own they are bad things, they can lead to a thing that every creative person dreads. And it's burnout. So imagine this, you are constantly shooting the same thing every day to post on social media while trying to maintain the same quality and you compare yourself to others. Congratulations, you are a professional photographer. Or just someone trying to get beat on Instagram. But you might say that you see photographers that beat on Instagram all the time. And to that I say, I know. But there is probably a lot more behind the scenes than you think. Maybe they were a photographer for someone famous, maybe they have a YouTube channel. Maybe they pay for Instagram ads. There are a lot of ways in which you can get beat on Instagram. And funnily enough, most of them don't include doing anything on Instagram. But what now? what can you do? Do you need to uninstall Instagram and never touch it again? And in my opinion, there are a couple of ways to deal with it. But for starters, if you are someone who needs to have a lot of likes on their posts, I would recommend uninstalling Instagram at least for a while. It will help you mentally. But if you are like me and you don't really use Instagram that often, just keep using it as you were. There won't be any real change. Just post whatever you want and you will be more happy. But there are ways to share your passion for photography in completely different ways. There is also Flickr, but I haven't used it, so I can't really say anything about it. But there is this weird ancient thing that is called printing your photos in real world. Now, the printing part is not for everyone. Not everyone has a printer that can print in high quality or just have a printer in the first place. And some people don't even want to do it. But if you want and can print photos, do it. Printing is a great way to show off your photography in one way or another. That weird thing that you see right now is one example how to do this. You don't even need a big and expensive printer to do it. I use an Epson EcoTank L3251, which is less than 200 euros. You won't get these big nice prints out of it, but if you are starting out, it's definitely enough. Another part is the aforementioned real world. You can always join a local photography club, if you have it. I don't, but if you have one, go look at it. Having people around you that share your passion will make it way more enjoyable. And I also recommend looking if there are any art galleries around you. They often will have some photo exhibitions. And even if they currently don't, you can always just go there and look at art. It might inspire you. And if there are none around you and you aren't really planning any trip right now, go see your local community center or however it's called where you live. They often have some kind of art exhibitions in them. Sometimes even photography. At least my local one does. And if you decide to do it this way, you will at least support a smaller, probably even local creator, so hey, it's a good thing. And that's kind of all I wanted to say about this subject. So shoot with what you want and share where you want.